Do you guys ever go down a rabbit hole in which you start to do something? For instance, I was going to start working on my daughter's vessel. And on my craft desk, this is a little cup holder thing, or a place to put cups, a coaster that my friend Gail Augustinelli gave each one of us at her retreat. And it's on my desk, and I would keep needles in it. Well, half the time they would fall off and they would be all over my desk. And so I thought, oh, I need to redo my pin cushion that I had made some time ago. So a friend of mine, we were out antiquing, and I told her I'm looking for a small little container that I can make a pin cushion out of. And she found this, not when I was with her, but at another time. And it was perfect. However, when I had originally made the pin cushion, I had just stuffed a bunch of batting in it, and that does not work out very well when you are trying to stick needles in it. They don't go through it very good. So when I was making my hussif roll, I finally purchased some walnut shells, which is perfect for making pin cushions. So I thought, I'm going to redo this. So I took everything out of it, all that old batting, and then I had to take some acetone to clear off the old glue that I had used because I had put a trim around it. It took off some of the paint, but that's not a big deal. You know, it's going to be a pin cushion, and so it's going to be sitting on my desk. It's the perfect size. So I thought, why don't you guys come along with me for this Slow Stitch Saturday, and let's make a pin cushion. You can grab any container you want, whether it be a small little cup or I'm not sure. You could even use, if you wanted to make a really, really small one, this is a pill container, and you could just have that sitting on your desk. Probably scared the heck out of you guys, but you could have this sitting on your desk and put pins in it. You wouldn't be able to close it, but I'm just saying you can use anything you want. I thought I would start off by making a yo-yo or a Suffolk puff to fit over the top of it. This one might be too small. This one might be too big. We'll see. But I thought, well, what better time than to bring in some of my Tim Holtz fabric that I have in my shop and use that, because look at, isn't that pretty? So I thought either this one or this one would go good. These will be for a different project. So let's make the smaller one first. And so let me just take a piece of fabric. You want it a little bit bigger than your yo-yo maker. And I ordered these from Clover. I will try to remember to put the link in the description box. And it looks like that's probably just going to be about right, that little square. I may trim it off a little bit as after I put these two things together. Isn't that pretty fabric? I just love it. And so what you do is you take this little thing, and where it says clover at the bottom, you lay your fabric in it, and then you put this little thing right in the center, and it should snap. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get it to snap in there good, but I think it did. And then, yes, this is a little bit too big. I probably could have cut it even smaller when I was starting, but let's just trim around it. I tell you, having these little things makes making these yo-yos so easy. And I think there's 4 different sizes. There's one really small one. These are the 2 middle ones, and then there's a real big one. Oh yeah, see, do you see how you heard that snap in? And I went ahead and threaded a needle, and I used just a coordinating color of thread. And so what you do is you turn your fabric in, and it's very simple to do. You just kind of bring it up through the hole, and then you're going to go back down to the next hole, all the while making sure that the inside fabric is down like that. And then we're just going to go to the next hole, up, and then down. And we're just going to keep going all the way around. So last night we had our women's church activity, and it was delightful. We had spaghetti, and a woman whose husband served a mission in Italy, he made the sauce, and it was really good. And then somebody else had made an Alfredo sauce, and it was good. We had that. And then I made the salad, and it was just a romaine lettuce salad, but I make my own salad dressing, a vinaigrette, which you take olive oil, red wine vinegar, Dijon mustard, fresh garlic, crushed garlic, and you mix that all together, and it really makes, it's a classic vinaigrette. And then fresh Parmesan cheese over the salad. And then I made homemade croutons too, which is nothing more than little squares of either a French bread, or I use ciabatta bread, and you cut it in small little squares like a crouton, and you put them in a bowl, and you put a little bit of olive oil over them, tiny little bit of salt, pepper if you want, and then you lay them on a cooking sheet, and then fresh Parmesan cheese over it, freshly grated Parmesan cheese, not the stuff in the can. And then you bake them until they're really nice and crispy. So we had that. Okay, so now I'm all the way through to the very end. And then you pop it off. Bring this out. And then you pull this thread, and it will curve around. And you have to kind of just push that in as you pull your thread. and it will make your little puff. And like I said, I was pretty sure this one was going to be a little bit too small. And you just kind of keep working it around. Until you have a nice little puff. So anyway, and then the activity, it was at a woman's house, and it was a sit-down dinner. There was 46 women there. And then outside, her husband had huge pits that had fires going in them. So the yard was well lit. And then there was a walking path along the way. And at each path, it talked about Christ and the women that were in his life. You know, everything from, you know, his mother to the woman who bled, that he healed. And the point of it was to think about Christ in your own life. Anyway, it was lovely. It was a fun night. And so then I'm going to tie this off. I maybe could have done a little bit less fabric, but like I said, this one I can tell is too small. And so this will just be a Suffolk puff in some other project. And then sometimes I like to put a button there. So let's pull out the other fabric and we will make one out of this. So anyway, so yeah, that was fun night. And then poor Pascal, though, he's sick. My son, he's sick. He's got a bad cold, and he's like me. Anytime he gets a cold, he gets, you know, he suffers from asthma, and so I hear him hacking in there. But he's really good about making sure that he doesn't come around me too much, because he doesn't want to get me sick because I'm older. But we both then suffer from asthma anytime we get any kind of little virus. So anyway, he's taking vitamins. He's in his room watching TV. Okay, we're going to use this size now. I kind of like this fabric anyway. So let's see, the wrong side, like that. And then, oh, I want to, it snaps in better if you put it with right where the clover is there. Then you lay your fabric in, and then wherever the clover is on this piece, they say it snaps in a little bit easier. It's kind of hard to see there, right in there. I'm going to pull it up a little bit and then snap it in. There we go. You hear that? And you kind of just go around there. It snapped 3 times, and then I'm going to just trim a little bit more off, kind of more of a circular. You can always use those little scraps of fabric for tags or what have you. So to also try to help sell this fabric, I'm trying to get an Amazon seller account. I tell you, it's not so easy. I've contacted customer support, and they don't have, like, for the Amazon affiliate link account, there is a chat button and you can chat with someone. Well, they don't have that for this, for selling on Amazon. And because I want to list my fabric on on Amazon. I did get the invoice for the red. That's going to be the next color coming up. Now I'm going to show you if you don't know how to do a quilter's knot, because there's always new people. You take your needle, you lay it horizontal, you lay your thread over the top, you grab a hold of it, you wrap it a couple of times, and then you pull it down to the end, toward the end of the needle. You hang on to it, and you just pull that through. Keep pulling, 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 and then you have a nice knot at the end. That is called a quilter's knot. And I guess it really doesn't matter where I start, but let's just fold this in, and we will start. So anyway, Pascal had to call in sick today, and so he's home. I haven't heard him yet, other than coughing, so I don't think he's up and about moving around. Oh, and this is the other thing, you guys. So last night at the program, my granddaughter, who is 17, and I will ask her if I can put her singing on in my YouTube channel, and I will add her singing. But she sang, because she's got an incredible voice, and she sang, and oh, it was so lovely. And I had forgot that she was coming to sing. And my daughter, who was also feeling a little bit under the weather, she couldn't come. Otherwise, she would have been at the activity. But yeah, it was so fun to see Olivia sing. I was so proud of her. And then other news about her is she is going to go to the Philippines next summer on a 3-week humanitarian mission. And they're going to be building health clinics. And she's so excited about that. And she's going to an area in which, there's one area called Cebu. And, I visited the Philippines. And there's another area off the water there where I guess there's sharks, and you can swim with these sharks, but they're not the kind of sharks that would bite you. And she's so excited because she's going to get to swim with the sharks. So, and I'll try to remember to insert a picture of me, because when I was in the Philippines, I also went and swam with the sharks. Here's the picture of me just before getting in the water to swim with those sharks. It's pretty incredible. I would wish I had had a underwater camera, because that would have been fun. Because I think, let's see, I had my camera in, it was just my iPhone, but I had it in a sealed container kind of a thing, but the pictures are kind of blurry. I think I'm at the end, and that's good, because I'm at the end of my thread here. So anyway, I texted her that picture of me also swimming with the sharks last night, and she was so excited. So okay, now we're at the end. I don't want to lose this. I don't have much left, but I think as I pull it, I will have more string. So I'm just going to just keep kind of tucking it under as I pull it. And I just need it big enough to where I can put it over the top of the pincushion. That should have been, why is that like that? Here I go again. Didn't I do that the last time, you guys? I didn't pull it tight enough. I think it'll be okay though, because it's going to be tucked under and kind of hidden by the walnut shells. So, yeah, so as soon as I finish with this pincushion, I'm going to start working again on my daughter's bowl or vessel for her cabin. Oh, that may work. That might just work. Let's see. If I pull it a little bit out, I think it will work. I don't have to have it quite so tight. I just may be, no, I think I need the, I need to go grab the other one, but that's okay. It just means I'm making more Suffolk puffs for journals and stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go grab the other one and we will just continue chit-chatting. That one came out pretty good there. I like the way that one looks. So let's just tie that down. And end this off, and we will just make another one. That's all. Yeah, that one came out really good. I like that. Okay, let me put the camera on hold and I will go get the bigger one. Oh, and the other thing that I did differently is when I had it in the thing here, I came in through the back so that the knot won't show. I don't know why I hadn't thought of that before, because it always kind of bugged me that the knot showed. So let's see how this one turns out. Because depending on how much you pull on them, it can determine the size too. So you see how small that one's getting? But if I just kind of bring it out a little bit and align the center, it changes the size of it. Okay, now the next thing I thought I need to do is when you look at this one, I don't know why it doesn't completely seal off. And these walnut shells, they're small. So I thought, you know, unless I close that off, they're going to fall out of there. So I did do some double tape on the back of just a piece of scrap paper. And I'm going to pull that off and just kind of curve that down in there, way down low. I measured it. And then that will seal that off. So when I pour in the walnut shells, they won't fall out. The next thing I'm going to do is just add some double-sided tape to the outside edge of this little container, and then that way the Suffolk puff will be able to be attached to it. And while I'm fiddling with glue and what have you, let's see. And then I'm going to bring a bowl in, set this here, add some of the walnut shells to the bottom there. I ended up making one more Suffolk puff. I've got quite an assortment here, but I wanted one that I hadn't pulled together very tight. I tell you, these are fun to put as tabs, like I said, on journals. So it doesn't matter how many I'm making here. So I'm gonna start pulling on my thread. Just to give me that puff around look. And actually, I'm going to come in here. I think I have a little bit too much fabric. So I ended up going in and trimming around the edges ever so slightly. And then what I'm going to do is start pouring a little bit of the walnut shells in there. And I can see this side is a little bit too big still. All right, that's much better. Okay, now let's take some of the walnut shells and pour them in the middle here, and then we'll close it up. Because I already have some, remember, in my little container here. So I don't need it to be jam-packed full, but I need it to be enough to where it makes it nice and puffy. Oh, I like that. I like that. Okay, now let's just see how this is on there. And oh, I think that's going to be perfect. We're going to make it work. I'm going to flatten them out just ever so slightly. And it may leak a little bit here and there. That's all right. Then I'm going to tie it off. And actually, well, I was thinking I would run that thread across. However, I don't want that much to be there because I want the needles that I put inside the pin cushion to be able to freely be able to go in and out. So let's just tie that off now. And then I'm not quite sure how this is going to work, but what we're going to do is we're going to pull off the double-sided tape. And I think I started it right here. Sorry if you can't see. And I have to do it without tipping this over. Come on. Nope, it's bringing over both sides, and I only want the one side. Sometimes you got to grab a little pokey tool to get that off. Wow, that took a minute to get that undone, but I finally was able to do it. I hope this works. I'm going to probably have to put a tiny little bit of glue also here, but we're just going to stick that down there and then bring the fabric down over it. And it is gluing it just a little bit. And then what I'll do is I will also then come around. I hope you guys can see. I will come around with some Fabri-Tac and add more glue to hold this down. There is a little bit coming out somewhere, but that's okay. I can see it's right here. Yeah, see? Now that's good. So then what I'm going to do is off camera, I'm going to add a little bit of glue and pinch this down so it's over that edge really good. It's kind of off-centered ever so slightly, but I think I can get it. But I'm going to do that off camera, you guys. What I ended up doing is, while I watched a couple of different YouTube videos, is I would go underneath with a little bit of glue and then press down, a little bit of glue, press down. I did that for close to an hour. So the next thing is I want to put just a little bit of trim around the edge. And I've got this pretty gold trim. And so I'm going to add that to the edge. And I'm going to use my Fabri-Tac. That's pretty liquidy. What I may have to do is put this here, lay it down, and then just let it dry for a minute, because it does seem pretty liquidy. What I do sometimes is, you know, you've heard me say this before, if the glue is too thick, what I do is I add a little acetone to it. So I'm going to just let that sit, and then I will, as time goes on and it dries, I will wrap it around. So I'm going to just put that off to the side. I am going to show you one thing that I made using the fabric that I didn't think I would really use that much. But this is the map, the street map fabric. And Rachel from Roxy Creations was doing her weekly challenge, and she was making these little pocket things, and this is one of her digitals. And do you see how there is a little bit of pink there on that digital? And then I made a tag to go in there, and it also had a little bit of pink. So I just took some of this fabric and I didn't even sew it. I just folded it over and glued it and tied it, and you can't even tell that it looks like part of a map, but it matches not only this, but the outside. So you may not even be a fan of a lot of pink, but sometimes you need a little bit of pink in your life. So now let's bring this back in here and see if this has gone down a little bit. Yeah, I think it has. So I can add some more glue, and I will just keep adding glue and bringing it around and letting it sit there for a little bit while it catches. And then I will show you the final product when I'm done. Well, my little pin cushion is done and I'm extremely happy with it. It's nice and compact, so it will fit on my desk nicely. The pins go in very easily. And so that is my Slow Stitch Saturday. I hope you enjoyed it. If you would like some of those walnut shells, I'm putting the link to them and the yo-yo makers down in the description box. And I will see you guys on Monday for working on a Christmas journal, and it's going to be from one of Medieval Mirage's kits, and it's her emerald and red kit, which goes perfectly with Christmas. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Talk to you later. Bye.